Hey everybody, it's Kyle, the Lawn Mentor here, and today we are going to talk about fall lawn plans for your cool season lawn, and if you have any plans at all, or if it's going to be business as usual. So stay tuned and let's talk about that. Depending on the condition of your lawn, you may decide to either commit to a full renovation of your lawn where you completely remove the existing lawn that you have and replace it with either seed or sod. Or if you're just trying to thicken up or bring in some new cultivars into the mix, you might decide to do some overseeding. Some of you might even decide not to do anything at all. For those of you who have lawns where you're happy with the cultivars that are there, where you're happy with the performance of the grass that you're getting, you may not need to do anything at all except for continue to foster some good growth in there. Not everybody has to overseed and not everybody has to commit to a full renovation, and that's one thing I wanted to make clear right up front in this video. However, for those of you who might be thinking about either doing a renovation or an overseeding project, I wanted to talk about what I went through to get my lawn to the stage of where it's at now. In general, though, you want to make sure that you commit to whatever your goal or your plan is going to be, whether it's a full renovation or an overseed, and you need to start planning what materials or products you are going to use to make sure that you're successful. Last year I kept explicit notes on all of the things that I did throughout the year so that way I could look back on them and get a feel for timing and different issues that I may have run into. And it's been really beneficial so far. That being said, I did take great notes on my timing for my overseeding project last year. Last year, my goal was to thicken up the lawn and bring in some new cultivars into the mix. And I plan to do the same thing on my Project Spoon Juice section coming this fall. The main stage section of my lawn benefited greatly from this, and it is definitely thicker this year. I have seen some areas of my lawn that have had some increased drought and disease resistance as a result of bringing in those new cultivars. Last season, I overseeded my main stage section of my lawn with the GCI Turf Cool Blue mix, which is a mix of turf type tall fescue and Kentucky bluegrass. There was one particular section of my lawn where I removed a shrub and had about a 10-foot circle of bare dirt in my lawn that I was able to explicitly put just that GCI seed on. And I can definitely tell a difference. The color has always been a little bit darker in that section. The disease resistance is higher, it handles drought better, and overall, it even feels softer. If I had the time, I would probably commit to doing a full renovation, bringing in some more elite seed varieties like the GCI Cool Blue, but with a kid on the way, I think that's gonna have to wait a year. But Project Spoon Juice will be heavily overseeded with the GCI Turf Type Tall Fescue blend. I'll try to cover that as much as I can this season so that you guys can get a sense for how to actually go through the steps of going through an overseed. You need to pick out your seed. You need to understand what variety of grass you're going to go with, and you need to source your seed from a reputable supplier to make sure that you're not scrambling at the last minute to get that seed. I've personally already picked up my fertilizer and my seed for my overseeding process about a week ago. So if you haven't done that yet, you need to catch up. You also want to make sure that you have a good starter fertilizer or your fertilizer of choice available and ready to be thrown down when you go through your overseeding process. Ideally, you'd like to get that starter fertilizer down pretty soon after you get your seed down, so when it starts to grow and germinate, that it has the nutrients available to it that it's going to need to grow. Once you've done that, from a habit perspective, watering will continue as normal until you have started the overseed process. But leading up to your actual overseeding date, you'll want to begin to lower the height of your cut. For me, I usually keep my lawn somewhere around the upper 3 to 4 inch range, but my goal is to work it down towards 2 inches so that I have more soil exposed and am able to get that seed and fertilizer down towards the soil as easily as possible. And if you do any leveling work, not having tall grass in the way will help you to accomplish that as well. So if you're in the cool season zones and you've been cutting your lawn tall like me, I would start to bring down your height of cut by somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch per week until you get down to 2 inches to make sure that your lawn is nice and short and ready to receive whatever you're going to add to the ground. So last year, my overseeding date was September 3rd, and I started to work my grass down in August and got it down to about 2.5 inches actually by early September, and started my overseeding process there. After that, the following day, I had some leveling to do since I had removed that shrub and some other spots in my yard that needed some leveling or grading work done. So I actually used a 50-50 mix of topsoil and compost to do that, but looking back, I wish I would have introduced a lot more sand into that mix. As I said, it went with GCI Cool Blue Seed. I went with the Carbon Earth XST DIY starter fertilizer, which is actually no longer made, but I would recommend switching over to the Yard Mastery starter fertilizer if you're looking for another good one. I did my leveling, laid out the seed, got the fertilizer out, and then I covered all of my areas that were pretty bare with some peat moss and watered it in. And that's pretty much the steps you want to take when you're putting your seed down on the ground. You want to make sure you have a good soil bed to get all this product and seed down into. Make sure your height of cut's been brought down. Source your seed, spread your seed according to the label rates. Source your starter fertilizer and spread that according to the label rates. Cover all of that with a thin layer of peat moss, and then you need to begin watering so that that seed will germinate. I planted my seed on September 4th, and by September 10th, I had evidence of germination and started to consider backing my watering down so that I didn't develop shallow roots. By September 12th, I was mowing the lawn. The existing lawn had grew tall enough that I knew I needed to mow it. So September 12th, I mowed at the top setting on my Toro recycler. I bagged those clippings so that I wouldn't smother the seedlings. And I was just gentle and quick, get on and get off the lawn so that I wouldn't harm those new seedlings. I started to back the water down when I started to mow, and was not watering every day anymore. I switched to every other day, and then eventually back down to 3 times a week and then 2 times a week. And so that way I wasn't developing shallow roots. From there, I basically was cutting once a week. And once I got into the October timeframe, I started bringing back more biostimulants into my program, another round of fertilizer the following month, and then I was pretty much done. It's a lot of work up front. The results were fantastic, and I'm reaping the benefits of choosing good quality products this year. Like I said, I'll be overseeding the island in the middle of my driveway. That's been Project Spoon Juice with GCI Turf Type Tall Fescue. Looking forward to that. So the point of today's video is to encourage you guys to make a plan, nail down those decisions, make sure you source a good quality seed, make sure you source some good starter fertilizer, and have all your products lined up so that as you start to work your height of cut down and you're approaching your overseeding date, you've got everything lined up, ready to go, and you can enjoy the process of overseeding and enjoy watching the fruits of your labor. Now, I know there's going to be a ton of questions, and I would love to answer all of them. So if you have questions about the seed, how to choose fertilizer, what kinds of fertilizer you should be using, when you should be choosing to overseed from a date perspective, please leave some comments down below and I will reply to them. I'll let you guys know, I'll help you out, and we'll figure out how we can get you set up for your overseeding projects. I'm looking forward to hearing about your guys' results and watching your lawns explode this fall. If you guys have appreciated the content that I've created so far and you're looking forward to what's coming out next, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and let me know that you've been enjoying it and that I've been doing a good job. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get excited. Let's get planning. Let's get ready for the fall. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.